let's get into the meat and potatoes here. New, more accurate translation of the official origin of the Pokémon universe. In the beginning, there was a vortex of chaos. All mixed and slowed together, and everything was a blur. One day, a large egg appeared in the center of the chaos. For a long time, the egg continued to shake, making a breath. Eventually, the vortex stopped, and the egg broke. The absolute god Aus was born. I'm going to mess up the pronunciation here a lot, so bear with me, okay? The scattered fragments of the egg transformed into giants, and attacked the newborn Aus. However, Aus quickly grew, and continued to defeat the giants. At last, after a fierce battle, Aus defeated all the giants. The wounded Aus created an ant itself. As the left and right side of Aus's body were different, it created two selves. Aus gathered the body of the defeated giants, and poured its blood into them. From the one who resembled his left poured out light, so Aus named it Ea, the god of light. From the one who resembled his right poured out darkness, so Aus named it Ea, the god of darkness. And yes, after this I can only think of fate. That sword. I don't know if it has anything to do with it. My knowledge of Mesopotamian and Babylonian mythology is quite small, as you might understand. Two, I was commanded that the world be filled with people, and fell into deep slumber. Now, make baby. Although Ea and Ea were different in appearance, they loved one another, were joined, and had many children. However, there were still no world, and their 4 children, who had nowhere to go, and died one after the other. Though overcome with great sadness, Ea and Ea thought of creating a world where all could live healthy and prosperous lives. Ea and Ea called their children Day, the god of eyes, I, the god of heart, and Hai, the god of voice. When Rain opened its eyes, everything that was there appeared. There was now contour and color in the world. When I wished for it, everything that was there could be felt. A sense of calm spread. When I shouted, everything that was there trembled. A bluish timbre began to resonate. The 3, Ea and Ea, gave the seed of life and told them to nurture it. 3 gathered in a circle and prayed, and the seed sprouted. Is this Zelda? Cosmology, at the end of the day, all feels a little bit the same. The sprout quickly grew, and became the giant tree of life. However, the tree continued to grow, soon filling the entire world, and no one was able to move. 3 asked Father Ea and Mother Ea for help. Ea and Ea joined once again, had 3 children. The god of the sky, Rayquaza, the god of the earth, Groudon, and the god of the ocean, Kyogre, were born. Now we get actual names. Rayquaza wrapped its body around the Tree of Life. Groudon and Kyogre slammed their bodies into the Tree of Life. Eventually, the tree fell and broke into 3 pieces. Ray, I, and Hai prayed, saddened that the tree would rot away like this. Then the pieces of the broken tree would transform into the sky, earth, and ocean. Rayquaza became the pillar that holds the sky. Quite literally. Sky pillar is a place. The shadow that reached into the heavens became the 3 gods who sustained the sky, Kairyu, Kabigon, and Bankiras. The earth filled the sky, and the stars sparkled. And here is where I have a massive problem, right? They say Kairyu, that's Dragonite. They say Bankiras, that's Tyranitar. And they say Kabigon, that's Snorlax. But people are running with Gyarados instead of Snorlax in the slot for some reason. Just in case, Gyarados' name in Japanese is Gyaradosu. It's literally the same. So now it should be Snorlax. It's also funny, some people mentioned that the pseudo-legendaries are actually of godly nature from this myth. Groudon became the land that covers the earth. The roar of the diving land became 3 gods who sustained the earth, Dabu, Sun, and Goldon. The earth shook, and the mountains stirred. We have no idea who these 3 are. Some people are saying, maybe Heatran could be here, Maybe Cresselia could be here. Maybe Darkrai could be here. And I'm going to give you a different theory. Maybe it was they were supposed to be, what are they called again? Forces of nature, Lando, Landorus, Thunderous, and Tornadoes. Because when you think about it, their existence doesn't make a lot of sense, right? You look at them and you're like, okay, these are clearly Fujin, Daijin, and Inari. They look like clear Japanese gods. But there are three with no greater legendary in their generation. They have nothing to do with the mythology of Unova. They don't even look like they should be from Unova. That's so strange. So maybe they were supposed to be the underlings of Groudon, right? They're all about nature and fertility and whatnot, so at least Landorus, right? So that could be the case. That could be the case. That could be the case. That's my opinion. Maybe not, but that's just my opinion. Kyogre became the veins of water and embraced the oceans. The ripples that disappeared into the seas became the three gods who stained the ocean. Latios, Metagross, and Latios. Latios and Latios I can see. Metagross? Ocean? I guess. Maybe. The ocean was filled with water, and the waves whispered. Thus the world was born, Ea and Ea, and the various gods were very pleased with this, and filled this world with their children. That peaceful world was a paradise for the children of God. The children of God would continue to multiply. Through that, worlds would change little by little. Over time, the gods began... What? I'm gonna read it just like this. Over time, the gods would call those who lived in the world by two names. Would began to call, I suppose. So strange. I don't know, I'm strong here. Children of God who resembled the Great Father Ea would be called Pokémon. Children of God who resembled the Great Mother Ea were called humans. The absolute God, Aus, will soon awaken and see the world filled with its descendants. Will promise great abundance and prosperity. Here we have a big image, and as you can see, they have the Japanese names and the translated names, and this is very much the like the glyph that appears when you play through the Arceus event. And I'm gonna be real, a lot of stuff here is strange to say the least. Because you have Aus, which is Arceus, we have Ea, which is Dialga, and we have Ea, which is Palkia. Okay? With Giratina, we have no idea. Mid was actually an afterthought, and Arceus was supposed to be the third and this trio, but it was later scrapped. No idea. Every Rayquaza, Kyogre, and Groudon. With their three guardians, for some reason, instead of having Snorlax here, now we have Gyarados. No clue. We have Groudon with no actual no legendaries, so strange. Thong. Could be Thunder, right? So it could be Thunderous, perhaps. Groudon from ground, Landorus. I don't know how we can make Dahabu or Dahabu into Tornadoes. It can be done, probably it can be done. I'm not saying otherwise. We have They, I, and I, being Uxie, Azelf, and Mesfruit from the lore. We have Ho and the dogs, Lugia and the birds, Jigigas and the Regis. They have like other assorted legendaries here, like Deax and Jirachi, Celebi and Mew, and then we have Earthly and Smiley. Hard to tell who is who here, but Smiley maybe shaming could be a possibility. Earthly could be Manafi. As far as we know, it's the only legendary that can actually breed, and you get Fion. This pisses me off. Gyarados. It says Kamikon. That's Snorlax. What's going on here? I don't understand. I just don't understand. August 1st, 2005. Game Freak. And let me tell you, they do be freaking out. Well, they're a little bit of freaks in general, right? And now we can get to the stories from the past. Okay, what the hell, Game Freak? What's up in this? Theme. Original theme based on the current Pokémon world. In the distant past, when the boundary between Pokémon and humans was still blurred, there was a woman and her companions. Every day, they were bored, sitting with often Gator Slackoth living in the nearby forest. They played poor games with the Gator Slackoth, sometimes killing them for fun, gouging out their eyes or cutting off their ears. Wild. One day, the woman was walking along in the forest and saw a Slackoth hanging from a tree. She climbed to the tree to catch it, but slipped and injured herself. At that moment, a Vigoroth appeared. This Vigoroth had a torn ear. The woman, startled, tried to flee. Her injured leg hurt too much, and she couldn't move. The Vigoroth with the torn ear suddenly attacked her when it saw her. The woman lost consciousness. When she awoke, she was in an unfamiliar place. Before her lay a clear lake, surrounded by trees, on which many Slackoth and Vigoroth were hanging. One Pokemon bore wounds somewhere on their bodies, marks left by the woman and her companions. Upon closer inspection, she noticed that some of the Slackoth hanging from the trees were corpses. They were the very Slackoth that the woman and her friends had killed and discarded. The Slackoth were throwing those corpses into the lake. Terrified, the woman tried to run away, but a Slacking appeared. This Slacking also had a torn ear. The woman realized this was the same Vigoroth she had seen earlier, and fear overwhelmed her, causing her to faint once more. Fast evolution, what's going on? When the woman regained consciousness, she found herself at the entrance of the forest near her home, surrounded by her friends. They carried her back to her house. Sometime later, the woman gave birth to a child, but it wasn't a human child. It was a Slackoth. She intended to abandon it, but couldn't bring herself to do so. She stopped meeting with her friends and decided to raise the Slackoth. One day, her friends, concerned about her, visited the area near her home. They found the Slackoth sleeping there, the child of the woman. As they always did, they cut the Slackoth, stabbed it in the chest, and killed it! They took its corpse and headed to the woman's house. When she saw the slain Slackoth, the woman was overwhelmed with sorrow. She grabbed the Slackoth's body and ran deep into the forest. Her friends, shocked, chased after her. As they ventured deeper into the forest, the surroundings suddenly opened up, and they found the same clear lake from before. Around the lake were many Slackoth and Vigoroth. The woman stood before the lake, and holding the lifeless body of the Slackoth, she threw herself into the water. Afterwards, the woman's friends began to treat the Slackoth as companions, just as she had in her final moments. And a lot of people see these stories and are like, "Wow, dude, so wild, what was going on here?" I feel like I've read these stories before, a long time ago, so this is probably just old Japanese mythology, but with a painting of Pokemon and on top of it. It's cool. It's cool. This is just a little bit sad in general, but you know what to say. Mess around and find out, huh? And yes, all of them have explicit themes. So bear with me a little bit. We had another one. The one with this was the one with artillery. It's funny. There was a time when the boundary between Pokemon and humans was blurred. In a coastal village, there was a man. One day, as he was walking along the shore, he found the female artillery washed out on the beach. The man had relations with the artillery, and then threw it back into the sea. That is something to read, I guess. The next day, he went to the same spot and found the same artillery again. He, once more, had relations with it and threw it back into the sea as before. What the hell? No, it was not a Vaporeon, it was the Octopussy all along. One night, after several days had passed, the man had a dream. In the dream, the artillery spoke to him. "I cannot come to you, but I will deliver our child to you. It is our child, yours and mine." The next morning, the man went to the place where he had met the artillery. There he found the boy. The man took the boy home and raised him. Time passed, the boy grew up into a young man, and the father passed away. The young man was always lonely. This is not going to go into incest, at least. One day, as the young man was walking along the shore, he saw a group of people playing in the distance. They all held very large swords. Playing. Sure. They all held very large swords in their hands as they danced. The young man approached the people, and as he got closer, he saw that Sharpedo were playing along the beach. When he tried to get even closer, the Sharpedo suddenly leapt into the sea all at once. However, the Sharpedo lingered, looking around 3 times before swimming away. At the spot where the Sharpedo had been playing, there was a large sword lying on the ground. It was a shape he had never seen before, and it was very sharp and pointed. The young man took the sword home. It's really funny because Shark Sword. Are you thinking about Naruto's Samehada? It's funny because Samehada is also Sharpedo's Japanese name. I don't think it has anything to do with that, but funny tidbit. The next day, the young man took the sword and went to the forest. While walking through the forest, he encountered an Ursaring. He tried slashing at the Ursaring's mouth with the sword, and the mouth was easily severed. Next, he stabbed at the Ursaring's eyes, and they were easily pierced. Finally, the young man thrust the sword into the Ursaring's chest, and the Ursaring died effortlessly. That day, the young man killed 30 Ursaring. 30! So powerful! After that, he always carried the sword with him, playing by injuring the Pokémon he encountered or cutting off parts of their bodies. Quite messed up. That is quite messed up, but back in the day, this kind of story was not unheard of. One autumn, while the young man was searching for firewood, he lost his way. After walking for a while, he stumbled upon an Ursaring's den. Inside, there was an elderly Ursaring laying down. Not Ursaluna, it was not a thing yet. The elderly Ursaring looked at the young man and said, "Come inside." The young man hesitated. It was getting dark outside. He entered the den. Before long, people began to enter the den, one after another, filling the room completely. Looking closer, he saw that all people had scarred faces, and some were missing their eyes. They were chatting among themselves, but the young man ignored them and fell asleep. At one point, he woke up to find the elderly Ursaring laying beside him. He fell asleep again. Oh, baby. Struggle, snuggle. Let's hope it doesn't happen. He fell asleep again. When he awoke once more, there were many people around, thinking about something. Again, the young man ignored them and went back to sleep. When spring arrived, the elderly Ursaring spoke. "Do you want to go home? Then I shall send you home. When you return, a warlord will soon be found near the village. Go there. We'll send the man. You must leave the sword behind and bring a witness. When you do such things..." Why did you do such things? Cutting faces and slicing off noses. The elderly Ursaring escorted the young man back to the village. Upon his return, the young man recounted everything that had happened to the villagers. The following morning, the young man took some villagers with him and headed to the shore. As they walked along the coast, they found a large whalelord. Nearby, on the beach, was a Teddiursa. When he noticed the young man, the Teddiursa hid in the forest, and a large Ursaring came out in its place. As the Ursaring charged at him, the young man tried to throw the sword he had hidden, but it got stuck, and he couldn't pull it out. Unlucky. Unlucky. That's what you get. That's what you get for lying. So he rushed at the Ursaring with his bare hands. With my bare hands! I think that's on purpose. The young man and the Ursaring grappled, punching each other's faces. They strangled each other with all their strength, and so they choked each other to death. That guy was really powerful, at the end of the day, even without the sword. Collapsing on top of one another. The villagers went back and told others what they had seen. Don't mess around with the bears, I suppose. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. Let's say this is a long one. This is quite a long one. Also, there was Another story here, I think that might have been a mistranslation, right? Because they mentioned something about a guy that had relations several times with Lapras, but surely it's pretty much the same beginning as this. And like, okay, it's the same story, it's a different story, it's hard to tell. It's quite hard to tell. Human-like ways of thinking. Oh, baby. I have a couple more here. This one is that have the most people talking about. It is something else, and I do believe I've read something like this before. The ending sounds really familiar to me. There was a village somewhere. One day, a girl from the village went to the mountain to get her firewood. She found well tried and dead wood deep into the forest. So she kept going further in. Before she realized it, the sun was setting, and she had lost her way. Around here, there were droppings from the explosion, foreshadowing, which made the girl anxious. Just then, a man appeared from the other side of the forest. His face didn't resemble anyone from the village, but he was very handsome. Very handsome. These stories were written by a woman, apparently. The man said, "You must be lost, right? I know the way down the mountain. With your pace, it would be midnight before we get there. I'll take you back tomorrow morning. So why don't you rest at my place tonight?" The girl had no choice but to agree to the man's suggestion. The man took her hand and began to walk. As evening fell, they arrived at a large cave. "This is my home. You must be hungry, right? Wait here." Saying that, the man waited outside the cave. After he left, a red light shone from far away in the mountains, and there was the sound of trees swaying. Before long, the man returned, carrying many red berries. "So obvious," he said. "It is. Then let's sleep for the night. Even if you wake up before I do, don't look at my face." The next morning, when the girl woke up, the man was still asleep. She honored the promise and still laying down, waiting. Before long, she fell back asleep. She was awakened by the man's voice. When she looked outside, the sun was already setting. "Today we'll eat green berries. Wait here." With that, he went out of the cave. After he left, the same red light shone from far away, and the sound of trees swaying echoed once more. By the time the sun had set completely, the man returned, carrying many green berries. He said, "It is. Then let's sleep for the night. Even if you wake up before I do, don't look at my face." The girl expressed her concern that her family would be worried, and that she wanted to go home soon. The man yawned wildly and tapped her on the head. At that moment, she completely forgot about her family and home. Psychic moves now. The two of them ate the green berries together and then fell asleep. The same routine continued, with him waking up when the sun had set, the man going out to gather the berries, and the two of them eating and sleeping together. Eventually, the girl realized that the man was a Typhlosion. She just realized randomly. I mean, it's very obvious, given the story they're telling, but sure. As winter approached, the Typhlosion dug deeper into the cave and said to the girl, "Go and gather Go and gather wood for firewood. Break off the branches from the higher parts of tall trees." The girl tried to do as the Typhlosion instructed, but the tall trees scared her, so she could only climb the shorter ones. When she brought back some branches, the Typhlosion said, "That won't do. If it's not from higher branches, humans will find us." Huh? Just because? Sure. When the snow began to fall, the two of them lived in the depths of the cave, mostly sleeping. There was plenty of food. Occasionally, they would wake up, eat, and then go back to sleep. One day, when she woke, the girl was holding a child. Randomly, it just happens. After several days and nights passed, the Typhlosion said, "Your father's looking for you, but you're my wife, so I can't return you. I will have to fight him." Guys, it's just that easy. It's just that easy. You only need to take a girl that is lost in the mountains and carry her to your cave. Getting a wife was not ever this easy. Your wife now. You can say otherwise. You're pleasant. Please don't do that. Don't kill my father. How can I live with you if you kill my family? You're a good person, so please stay here with me and sleep. Alright, let's stay here and sleep. Well, that was easy. The man nodded. The next night, the village with the girl and said, "Your father's close by. Go and see." When the girl went outside, a snowstorm was raging. She climbed a low tree and broke off a branch. Unlucky. When she returned to the cave, the Flushing was singing a song she had never heard before. "You broke off a branch, didn't you? Soon, your father will come here. I'm going to do something bad to your father. If I am killed, take my eyes, my voice, and my heart. Build a fire at the spot where I was killed and burn them. Let them burn, sing the song until the fire goes out." The girl said, "Please don't do it. Don't kill my father. If anyone is to be killed, let it be you." "Goodbye. We will never meet again." With those words, the Flushing went outside. She also got killed. That's what you get for getting a wife. Honestly. After a while, there was a loud noise. When the girl looked outside, she saw her father had killed the Typhlosion. She rushed out and said to her father, "Father, you killed my husband. I have been living with him all this time. He was my husband. Please give me my husband, the Typhlosion's eyes, voice, and heart." The girl built a fire at the place where the Typhlosion had been killed and put his eyes, voice, and heart into the flames. I not quite understand how you can put the voice into the flames, but sure. She sang the song that the Typhlosion had taught her until the fire burned out. This girl's father built a small hut on the edge of the village for the girl and her child to live in. Eventually, spring arrived. The young men of the village often teased and tormented the girl and her child. It became worse over time, and one day, they tried to drape a Typhlosion's belt over them. The girl returned home and pleaded with her parents. "Please tell the villagers to stop teasing us. If they put that belt on us, we will surely become Typhlosion. We are already half Typhlosion as it is." Is that how it works? Despite the parents' pleas, the villagers did not listen. In fact, they found it even more amusing, and eventually trapped the Typhlosion belt over the girl and her child. At that moment, they howled loudly and vanished into the depths of the forest. The two were never seen again. And so, people came to understand, Typhlosion are half human beings. That's absolutely wild, but I have to admit, that part about trapping people into belt for them to transform sounds really familiar to me. So, this is clearly from some sort of old tale, if it was not clear enough. It sounds really familiar to me. But wait, there's still more. There's still more. There's a couple more. I think they're shorter ones. They have this one, and they have also this in here. The one that I mentioned before. There was a man in a village. One day, the man went out. No, I haven't seen this one. I hadn't seen this one. I completely discarded this, but I hadn't seen that one. It's gonna be new for me. Beautiful. Native American ecology philosophy. Interesting. In the past, when the boundary between humans and Pokémon was blurred, there was a grassy plain and a large lake at the foot of a mountain. The two men lived on the west and east sides of the lake. The two men lived by hunting Pokémon. The man living in the west was not particularly skilled, but he strictly followed the hunting rules. The man living in the east was a skilled hunter, but often neglected these rules. This also sounds really familiar to me. One day, the man from the west went out to hunt and saw a Rapidash in the plain. Its lush mane shone beautifully in the sunlight. As the man from the west freed his bow, the Rapidash spoke. "We have children now. If I die, there will be none of us left in this plain." The man from the west lowered his bow and said, "Then I will not kill you. However, I desire your beautiful mane. So I ask you to become my wife." Is that how it works? I guess so, at least in this case. Rapidash became the wife of the man from the west. After about 2 months, when Ponyta began to appear on the plains, the man from the west was reading on the back of his wife. Hold up, you can't say that, that's too lewd! Come on now! Rapidash running across the plains, actual riding a horse, okay? It's not, you know, suspicious stuff. Not for now. Eventually, they reached a place where many Rapidash and Ponyta were resting. The wife said, "They are my husbands. If you need, you may hand them. If you treat them with care, they will not die. However, next to the female Rapidash or the Ponyta. The female Rapidash are my sisters, and the Ponyta are my children. That means the female Rapidash are your sisters-in-law, and the Ponyta are like your children." That's a little bit messed up, but sure. A few days later, the man from the east went out hunting. When he reached the plains, he found the Ponyta. He immediately shot an arrow and killed it. As he continued looking for more prey, he encountered a Rapidash. It was a female Rapidash. The Rapidash tried to say something, but the man from the east ignored it and shot his arrow. He then cut off the mane of the Rapidash he had killed, and, proud of the beautiful mane, decided to show it off to the man from the west. He wrapped the mane around his head and headed home. Eventually, tired of walking, the man from the east decided to rest under a large tree by the lake. As the man from the west and his wife, the Rapidash, walked along the lake shore, they saw a glimpse of the Rapidash's mane under the shadow of the big tree. "He is male, he has no children, so if you need, you may hand him," said the wife. Unlucky! Unlucky, got killed. This feels almost biblical. A little bit of... what was the name again? Abel and Cain? It's been a while, I don't remember much. With that, the man shot an arrow at the Rapidash. When he approached the prey, he found the man from the east laying there, wrapped into Rapidash's mane. "Take this man back with you, and when you have Rapidash, follow the rules I have told you." With those words, the Rapidash said farewell to the man from the west and returned to the plains. He lost his wife! Why live? Why live? Why live like this, man? But yeah, that's a little bit biblical. I don't think that was the point. But this also sounds familiar to me, I don't know why. And the last one. There was a man in a village. One day, the man went out to hunt for a Standler. While walking along the coast, he found the lepers on the beach. The man had relations with the lepers, and then sent it back to the sea. The next day, he went to the same spot, and the same leper was there. The man had relations with the lepers again, and sent it back to the sea in the same way. A few days passed, and one night, the man had a dream. In the dream, the leper said, "I cannot come to you, but I will send you our child. A child that is yours and mine." I think that's pretty much the same story as the Octopussy. The next morning, the man went to the place where he had met the lepers. There was a boy there. The man took the boy home and raised him. Years passed. The boy grew into a young man, and the father died. The young man was left all alone. And look, I've seen people horrified by this. I don't know why, but I've seen people horrified by these stories. Like, I think they're kind of cool, not gonna lie. Because at the end of the day, just silly stories like this, the ones we have in real life. And I know some people are a little bit too... Were Pokemon actually more humanoid back in the day? Were perhaps humans able to transform? It's somewhat implied, I think. Also, that we have this screenshot here. Let me show it to you. There's more stuff, but I don't have those stories on me right now. You can see we have different myths: Lapras, Artillery, Piloswine, Rapidash, Slacking, Slackwood, Taurus, okay, Zeus, Deflosion, Ursaring, and there are many Ursaring ones. 1, 2, 07, 14, 07, 22, and 07, 26. They have a lot of stuff. Boy, do I love being alive! Killed. Not anymore. But yeah, we had someone being like, okay, but what did Pilosine do? Pretty much the same as the Evolution. So I guess they have like 3 or 4 different stories, told in different ways with different species, which is so interesting. I'm also quite fond of the mythology stuff we've seen. I don't think it's the best. I think it's actually far from the best, but it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. I like it. It tries to be all-encompassing, and you have people be like, but it doesn't have to be all-encompassing. It doesn't have to be all-encompassing to be good. I'm like, yeah, but if you have a myth of creation, it makes sense to be cohesive with itself. What are we talking about now? Come on. Maybe that's just me.